This is why you should never accept a free couch. About 8 years back I lived in a dive apartment, my first place, a little 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom with a single kitchen/multi-room. It was fairly cheap and all I could afford. I took in free furniture where I could and didn't turn down a good freebie. After a few months a neighbor offered me a couch. Hell yeah. It was a sectional couch so big that it took over most of my living space. I never stopped to think why someone would give away a perfectly good couch. Turns out it was a huge mistake. A few weeks go by with the couch and being the single guy I was and not owning a real bed, but a futon. A real bed was too expensive. I chose to start sleeping on the giant couch. It was so comfortable and swallowed me in all the right places, but shortly after I started sleeping there I noticed an odd rash on my forearm. My first thought was that the rash was something in the community laundry room I bumped against or something at work. I was a temp agent at that time doing whatever job floated my way. I was prone to being a janitor for a week here, a box sorter there. I did all sorts of things and came in contact with a lot of different products. I paid no mind to the rash. I had visited a neighbor a few weeks later and mentioned the rash only on that arm over dinner, thinking they may have an answer or something to make it go away. My neighbors who didn't speak the greatest English laughed and said it was just a chinches and to wash it away. WTF is a chinche? I asked them, having never heard of it and thinking it was a plant or something. They told me to go where I slept and look there and wash them away. And that it wasn't any problem. So I did. I didn't know what I was looking for. I flipped the cushions over, patted around, vacuumed out crumbs etc., found nothing out of the ordinary and went about my life. A couple days later I run into my neighbor again, who immediately asked about the chinche. I said all I could find were crumbs and a few candy wrappers and that I don't know what to look for. That's when they mentioned I needed to look in the corners and dark spaces. I did just that later that day and was horrified. What seemed like hundreds of bugs were in the giant folds of plump dark brown cushions at mid-back level right where my rash arm was always at. There were clusters of them huddled together with babies and old exoskeletons littered about their sleeve of cushion. Not knowing what they were and having searched the entire couch finding batches hidden throughout, went to Google. Bedbugs. I honestly only knew them from the nighttime saying, "Don't let the bedbugs bite." I didn't know they were a real thing. They're living in my couch and feeding on my body like a buffet every night while I ignorantly lay there for them. They needed to go. I googled how to remove them and seen all sorts of companies tarping homes and gassing entire buildings. Heater treatments that ruined homes by seemingly near melting the insides. Crazy chemicals and pesticides, the works. All of which I couldn't afford. So I vacuumed the little bastards and sprayed right up under the cushions. Sleeping on the couch with 2 to 3 bed sheets draped over I picked up at Walmart. I started looking into chemical alternatives at some point when the vacuum treatments weren't enough and found that cedar oil is a natural remedy at a fraction of the cost. I jumped at it and after some reviews settled on cedar oil. I went through a couple bottles fast and ended up buying a gallon. This was the best choice I could have found at the time since nobody at that time seemed to sell bedbug spray. It worked. Although I ended up trashing my couch, blankets, what few pillows I had and my futon mattress. I was lucky enough to not have much and lost very little when I moved out and in with my girlfriend. She wasn't sure why all my wood furniture smelled like cedar oil and I had to tell her of my battle with the bugs. 6 years later I keep the rest of that same gallon in the garage just in case my son and wife notice anything. I will be ready when or if it happens again.